Day, fellow humans. It is a Wednesday video. I never know how I'm supposed to have this thing stationed. I totally was gonna do a video yesterday. I got my feelings. Yesterday was really like, oh, oh. But was yesterday the first official day of Scorpio season? So let me show y'all some things. Got some stuff lined up. I had it on my screen yesterday, but I had to do my own internal work, and we'll get into that. But let me show y'all what I wanted to show you guys, because shit is lit, and I'm so thankful. This is the wrong screen. I'm so thankful to have people to share it with, though, because a lot of this information is heavy. So giving you guys some things to be able to look into on your own. And I know that sounds funny, but like, so I had a person write me yesterday, and it was like the first thing I saw in the morning. This is the wrong screen anyway. Let me switch my share screen. And I have ADD, as they call it here. It's Mercury retrograde. What's the other term I would like to use? Mercury retrograde, or an afflicted Gemini energy, because I have Chiron and Gemini too. Now the screen wants to pop up. Lucky y'all know my flow. There we go. Okay, so there we go. It sent me into I don't want to say spiral, but it sent me into some unexpected shadow work. But like, that's the way it's supposed to be, right? You can try to control shadow work. Like, hey, let me schedule a time to dig into there. And I do, but that's not the same as the work that gets done when you're triggered. So she was upset that she hadn't received correspondence from me. And she was calling me a scammer and all this other stuff. And I like had to pause, had to come to, because I believe the only way to actually do shadow work is to walk yourself through it. Now, usually what happens is I walk my light self through it. Like, look at this from everybody's side. Nah, B. The sun was in Scorpio. Mercury is in Scorpio. So my shadow came through. There's a Frank Ocean song for this. Scared of Beautiful. And it starts off, turn the lights on, don't talk to me, whatever. But the main part of the song is, myself ain't never talked to myself like that before. And myself had never talked to myself like that before. So I came to my readings, and I gotta show y'all this, whatever. I had to check with myself. I had to be like, hey, why is this a perception? Why is this an issue? This is my, don't be slow now, internet. This is my Dropbox, right? These are all the readings for people who order bundles that have multiple readings. And this is just, you see how much I have left to scroll, and this is in alphabetical order, right? There are those. These are the bundles section. This right here is audio only. I have a special like studio, it's an online studio, where I record my stuff for classes, and then my stuff for people who order special stuff, which is like my audio readings, where I'm not on the camera, but I'm able to just tap in and channel. So there's a shitload of readings here, right? And then I went to my YouTube. This is the number 449. That's the number of readings that are currently on my YouTube channel. I went to my and these are client readings. My freaking astro.com, where I keep everybody's charts, just so if a client ever pops back up, they can say, hey, yo, and I can pull them up like, hey, you're going through such and such, right? 1,500 of those. So next I ask myself, what is it that you do every day, Aisha? Wake up and try to take over the world. But how do I try to take over the world? At this computer. Okay, so if that is the case, where is this coming from? I was not prepared for the the speed or the size of my manifestation. And that's the beautiful thing about shadow work, especially when your shadow is probing you. Keep it 100, because who is it hurting to lie to yourself? There are so many people who can't face the truth of their actions, and the actions keep getting worse, or the repercussions of it, because they can't. And that's where I feel like this was leading me. I came across a freaking voice note from 2021 where I was talking about how I was transitioning from readings to classes. I tried that several times in between, and it wasn't given. But I slept on my star player, is what I came around to. So when I was offering readings, they were going like hotcakes, right? But I realized I was getting like, all right, I can't, because in a time where people need help and you offer a light, it sort of becomes like, all right, once they find the light in you, they come back to find it to you all the time, and they don't go seek it within themselves. So that's where the basis of me starting classes or creating the books or anything I have began in the first place. When I started offering the by donation astrology class and all that stuff, when I said I wasn't doing readings anymore, right? It didn't fly. And keep in mind, I'm still the breadwinner of my family. It didn't fly. So I had to come to this like, what is going on here? And the shadow was like, is that what happened? I'm like, what you mean, B? Because your shadow know you. The shadow was like, well, you refused to charge what you are actually worth. So you took in a whole bunch of clients who had a standard based upon that which was set, but it was set based in your lack mindset. And I had to sit with that shit. People pop up in my comments all the time, and they're like, you know, you're supposed to be charging $300 for this. When I went and like checked other websites and other stuff, I did see that a lot of the stuff I'm doing is high level. And it's not that I didn't know the information was coming through high level or whatever. But in my mind, my thought was, or how about in my heart? Because that's really where I ended up realizing the pull was. People that just have $300 to pop off for stuff like this can pay for help all the time. I wanted to help the people that were in the dark, the people who would never be able to afford, I guess, technically, a reading of this caliber, to help them get out of their hole, because so many people are not in alignment with their purpose, because nobody ever shined a light down that hole and nobody ever saw their light. So I wanted my stuff to be affordable. I did the classes because even with my readings being what they are, some people still couldn't do that. I made sure I kept doing sales on the sold contracts. I kept doing different things to try to make sure people had options for help, because they were asking. Every time I make a post about something, there are at least 50 to 100 people in the comments asking questions. So to realize that a good majority of people want the answer fed to them, but they are not willing to go through the initiation, which is just you learning on your own. Now, the gag to this, which I'm just finding out, is that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force him to drink. I can look at your chart and tell you your potential. I can see you at your fullest. But if you never recognize that within yourself, it makes no difference to you what I just said to you. You're going to be like, oh, but I can't do that. You're going to think of every reason why you can't do A, B, C, and D, like I was just doing. Because this was my block that was blocking me from seeing my own potential. This was, every person was testing me the same way that I was testing them with their selves. And I didn't even know it. Y'all, my ass got dragged. I cried through 3 different levels. I couldn't even do a video by the end of the night because I was so puffy. Because it started off with that shadow stuff. Like, yes, I can understand, unfortunately, why somebody would perceive or believe me to be a scammer. But it's not because I'm not doing a multitude of reasons. It's because every now and then, my inbox, and that's not, I'm not even gonna say every now and then, my inbox is always crazy, but somebody falls through the cracks. And they'll pop back up and I'll be like, oh shit, all right, let me do it. Then I'll do it here. And then I'll do one here. And then there'll be somebody else that pops up. So it wasn't that, but the person outside of me doesn't know my life, or that my problem is I'm an extreme people pleaser and I don't have really good boundaries. But that's a part of having your son in 12. It's sort of like being a Pisces. Didn't know that, but I feel it now. So I was doing conversations in between sessions, answering questions for people. And there are some days when somebody comes to me and they don't want to live anymore. So, I ain't going to just be like, sorry, I can't help you because you don't have any money. Because no, I don't play about God, first and foremost. So that's the reason why I would not be a scammer. Because you can't just have the ugly truth there and then not the rest of it. No, you don't play about God. That's an extra, right? But overburdening myself to the point where it affected other people. Yes. Even my children. Like, mommy, do you have time to watch something today? No, mommy's working. Why is mommy working all the time? Because I said I was doing readings for 2 extra years when I knew my inner self told me to do what? Put the classes there. You can feed somebody a meal one day and then they'll be that back the next day to eat. But if you teach them how to fish, they'll always know how to fish. They'll always know how to go for themselves. I was being a martyr. I was still in a position of victimization. And boy, that's what the shadow told me. I was doing this to myself. It was self-sabotage. And then I had to say, and I'm telling you all this so y'all can learn the process of shadow work or how to walk yourself through it, because we get attacked. And this was a fucking woo. Okay. So when did this victimization start? When did you become a martyr? When did you feel like you had to undersell yourself in order for your value to be perceived? Well, shit. How long have I been doing this? When I was a wedding photographer, y'all, I had a good thing going, beautiful thing going, right? I thought I was friends with my brides. It was real cordial. We talked to each other in between times. I was giving perks, adding little engagement sessions, all sorts of stuff, because I was doing the same business model though. My photos were of like a 4,000, 5,000 quality because I spent time on classes, and all the extra stuff I was doing for people was building my skill set, right? So I did have the caliber of skill. But I kept saying, I don't think it's fair that people who are in love have to have crappy pictures because they don't have a big budget. So I purposely my prices. And it did not matter which wedding I went to. Oh, freaking feelings. It didn't matter which wedding I went to, whether their full wedding budget was 5 grand or I went to a $50,000 wedding. Their pictures, the difference was not noticeable. And like what I was doing with wedding photography was like so different that it was like even my friends or people who weren't getting married would look forward to the work. And then I'd have guests in the comments like, yo, we was at that wedding. It did not look like that. But I didn't know that my gift was to take other people's light, pull it through my eyes like a photo or like a camera, and then shoot it back out so they can see life through my eyes. That's the same skill that I have been using as a reader. I didn't know till yesterday when I got led through let me show y'all this shit. Some freaking and it's freaking absolutely. That's the mood I'm in today. Quantum entanglement in light harvesting complexes. Because every day I wake up and I get emails that are sort of like my lessons from the stars that I have to learn from. And this was explaining quantum entanglement, which is the way that the universe runs, right? The order of God, the way that the system was set up. The clock was started in the beginning so that it will run the way it needed to the end of time. But understanding light harvesting complex would help me understand how the gift of your light energy works, but also how people are becoming vampires, energy vampires. They are light harvesting, but they are using a negative form of photosynthesis in order to break down beings of higher light into lower vibrations that they can snort. Shit like that is why some days I'm late or whatever the case be, because the lesson is big, the feeling is big. But like I was saying, in photography, everything was going well. And so I fell. I had an accident. I was at a wedding in the freaking Dominican. I had made it, right? So when I fell, I was like, all right, it's cool. I'll have 211 because he was my partner shooting weddings, shoot weddings. It did never occur to me because one is within self. That being in Georgia, some people are racist. 211 is brown. He's very brown. Beautiful chocolate man. He's very brown. Right? some of the brides gave him shit. They were racist. They were very rude. They would call me like, hold on, you're not shooting my wedding? And keep in mind, my work and his, it's very hard to tell the difference because I trained him. Like he had to work at the Waffle House while I was learning these photography skills. So when he would come home, I would have us practice with the kids so he can learn how to use the cameras and stuff so that we'd always be a two-shooter thing. People was getting two shooters at every wedding, photo and video, and like a lot. After I fell, I was still going with that, right? I was trying to push through what was clearly happening because I didn't understand. I couldn't believe, no, God, there's nothing else I can do but photography. No, right? My hard drive with all the last, I think 30 weddings I had shot on it went down. What's the cost of the hard drive? 1,500. How much money do I have? Because I haven't been booking because I've been down. So therefore, I had to wait from October to tax time to be able to afford that. Almost every single bitch that I thought was my friend was not my friend. They was only befriending me because I had something to offer at the time. And it wasn't until that happened that I was benched that I realized, damn, how many of these females stopped talking to me after the wedding anyway? And I was like, all right, that's the pattern that's happening here. Because I had a group of psychic friends at one point that I thought were my friends until shit went down. And then they all disappeared. And I'm like, yo, and it was like my spiritual husband that ran them off. Like, why would you run off my friends? And he was like, they weren't your friends. And I'm like, that's not for you to decide because, you know, I explained to y'all, we had this problem where he like wants to keep me to himself. So he runs off everybody else. The question he asked was, it's been 2 years. Has anybody unblocked you or checked on you since the incident? Have any of those people reached out? No, they didn't because they weren't actually friends. So, okay, self-worth. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's do it. I have been trying to lose weight since I was 8 years old. I'm 38 now. That means I've spent 30 years not feeling good enough. Why did you not feel good enough, Aisha? Yes, it was this bad, guys. I'm like, my dad. Because he told me that only skinny women look good in their clothes. And if I was overweight, people wouldn't take me serious. They would perceive me as sloppy or lazy. So from that moment on, I was in elementary school, y'all, just eating apples for lunch some days. Because when I got to school and people started bullying me, my first thought was, damn, dad was right. People don't like me because I'm fat. And that bullying went on from elementary school to middle school. And by high school, I was so cold. The people were still doing their thing, but I didn't even care anymore. I was so used to it. As soon as I walked in the room, I was just like, let me get ready for it. So I had been out of touch with my actual essence and my self-worth since 7, when my daddy, who had made me feel like the world, started treating me different because I gained weight. I've been broke. I've been homeless, although the homeless thing is the whole Saturn contractual thing. But I have been internally self-sabotaging any of my own greatness and the opportunities given to me because there was a part of me that felt like no matter what happened, good things aren't meant to come to me because I don't look like what everybody else felt like I should look like. And ain't that the dumbest thing? I can say that today, but yesterday I was like, holy shit, this is the belief that has ruined my life inside. Like, I remember being a photographer in the photo studio. I worked in Walmart. I was so cute, right? Until they made me manager. And then I started sabotaging. I would just be in the back room crying and I could not figure out why I'm crying. Every time I get next to success, I start fucking it up. I don't even know what it is, but I didn't know what it was until I sat in the shadow, right? Think about your daddy. Oh, hell, let's do it. So I'm like, all right, what is it here currently? He doesn't know what my job is. He refuses to because to him, I've always been weird. And this is even on top of the other stuff. I've always been different. My job was sort of taboo. I can't talk to anybody in my family about it. So that was the next thing that got hit. Like, hey, are you sure this ain't the devil's work? Because this is dealing with what he's putting on me. I told him I got attacked, and he was like, was it because you were doing something you weren't supposed to? And I was like, no, actually, it happened when I started to go towards music. And he didn't say nothing after that because he know he was in charge of music. But all that sort of stuff, uh, it came up. And so I decided, y'all, I gotta show y'all this shit. I know I always gotta show y'all the receipts, the Carfax, because in me reflected even my dark to you guys, even my difficulty, y'all will start to understand the patterns in your life because we're all connected. The reason you're here at this video is because there was some reason you were meant to see it. So I went to my dad's fucking chart, right? I told you guys that God is the sun, shines a light. But remember, the light faces forward, it charges everything. It never gets to be in the reflection of itself. It never gets to see how great God is through itself. It only gets to see how good it is through its works, through its children. God's shadow just lingers in the background. The dark can only stand behind the light and see all the stuff that's in the darkness. In your chart, God is represented by the ninth house, Sagittarius, and the 10th house, which is ruled by Saturn. The high and low, the son of God, the highest Jupiterian energy of expansion and growth, and then restriction and reputation, because your reputation reflects on daddy. Your reputation and who you are is the only way that he sees he did his job right. My dad has a Sagittarius rising, right? But his first house is split between Sag and Capricorn. He's a Gemini. He's a Gemini. He has been playing out to me the difficult relationship I've had with God and God's shadow for many, many, many lifetimes. What is in God's shadow that is an issue for me or that he has an issue with? And I'm asking myself this now because this just came up. It's like the Little Mermaid. It's like Moana's daddy. I always want to explore. I always want to ask questions. I always want to go out and do things. I don't do it in alignment with what he feels is the proper way to do things, or a way that would keep me safe. The things I do are risky, I guess, like coming to earth. Even in general, me being a photographer, me being an astrologer, and all that stuff is taboo. He can't even tell his friends what I do. But that is a double. And the fact that he's a Gemini sun and then a Sag moon opposing it, right? His moon is at the 21st degree. That's the father degree. Now let me show y'all my chart. I kept telling y'all that I was going back for my crown. That was my goal. Like I kept seeing him, like, get your crown back, get your crown back. And even I can show y'all in here. Please, I just switched phones, so I'm like, please let this be in here because it matters. Made a list when I was watching Mean Girls. And I was like, I got a plan. And this is 20 freaking one. It's Operation Crown Back. I had 3 goals that I needed to achieve in order to get my crown back, but it was my connection to like the Most High Father. Because I had explored so much, I was only able to see the darkness within myself. I had only started to see the consequences of my actions, and it made me start self-sabotaging, just my soul in general. This was full circle. Look at my Saturn, the 21st degree. My contract was to the Father. It was always me aiming for the crown. I've always been trying to get back home. By the time I got to the end of this shadow work yesterday, I guess it had moved me through the different vibrations of the tree. I got to the top, like past myself and past all my feelings about my weight and stuff. And I started coming up with a plan, and I was feeling better about what I'm going to do forward because I'm going to stand in my worth regardless of what happens. The people who want to learn will find me. It's just a shift of vibration. I was sending out the shift or the vibration that was not in alignment with what I wanted. I was not feeling good enough to just teach. Like, what makes me different from the other teachers? Clearly nothing, because when I offer these things, no one gets them. But that wasn't it. That wasn't it at all. When I got to the top, Oh, this was like the most uncomfortable part. Who knew that talking to God was uncomfortable? But this is the brightest light being shined at you. This wasn't like the telepathic thing I've been having with him. This was like one on one, like in his sight. Mm. See, and that's how somebody asked me recently, how do I know I'm talking to God? Not to tell. Because when God hits you, that feeling is uncontained. I was teaching my daughter how to pull God into your body, how to feel connected, right? She couldn't take it, tapped out quick because her heart was already open. So the feeling's like, right? He wanted me to step outside myself for a second and to tap in his vibration and to see myself from his perception. Yo, the boo-hoo and boo-hoo was not as bad as that one. Like all the boo-hoos for the whole day. That was the collective. That was it. Because he just wanted me to realize that I was beautiful the whole time. And that was the thing I had to remember. Like it was because it's not words, it's feelings that you have to translate into your human to get what he's saying. But it was like the person who deserved the prize that is you would realize that you're a prize in any form you are. They would see your beauty as you are at that moment because your soul and your heart are the same consistently, no matter how you try to hide them, which y'all notice I do be trying to hide all the time, but it's because, shit. Anytime I do show my light, I get attacked. So the self-sabotage turns out it was actually like a protection uh, from the bullying, from my dad or anybody who saw my potential and decided that I needed to be pushed to make my full potential. So God was just letting me that I know that I was already good enough as I was. And the person that actually needed to recognize that I was a prize already was me. Because as soon as I realized that no matter what form I am, my soul is still beautiful and the right people will find me. Even I've been even hanging out naked because it sort of transcends. I don't even see myself the same anymore. I'm sort of hot. I be doing me, but whatever. So I was the person that needed to see. Every other thing that came into my life in alignment was based upon the block in my heart, and the block was on me in my shine. What was I hiding in my shadow, y'all? My personal power. The part of me that would have stopped allowing other people to take advantage of me and that wouldn't have felt victimized by it because I was put in these situations. But my actual strength, my warrior, my soldier got tucked into the background. And this shadow work was like the quick initiation. I thought it was going to be much harder than this, although it did take the whole day yesterday. But at the end, he wanted me to pick my head up. And he was like, I want you to remember going forward. When you talk to God, when you talk to your actual like parent, you hold your head up. You look them in the eyes. You don't hold your head down and bow. That's Saturn. That's the one that wants you to feel like controlled. And nah, you look, you raise your head. You are a child of the most high. You take this energy in from here and through, and don't ever forget as you walk through this new era that you are a child of the most high, and they're going to attack you because they don't remember that they are too. Your light is going to offend those who don't want to heal within because you are not the only one sabotaging yourself, baby girl, is what he said. And I was like, after that, I watched the episode of Charmed, y'all, right? In the episode of Charmed, it was about the main character, which was this Piper Prue. It was Prue, right? She had saved the life of a woman who was about to commit suicide, and it pissed off her demon. So what happened? Her demon started following the witch around because he still needed to collect the soul. So he was just whispering in her ear all day. You're horrible. You're a horrible person. You should kill yourself. He had people coming at her. Little stuff would happen in front of her, and then he'd say behind her, look at that. That's your fault. The whole day until she realized he was there and cast him out. So I was like, well fucking played. The next episode, y'all, was a doozy too because it was just them crying about the fact that they really would like to have a regular life and being a witch took over and they had no choice. So there I was crying again. because you can't turn it off once it starts. I don't even like the word with y'all. I'm gonna say this over and over again. It's sort of it's like the N word, even though I do use it. I'm trying to scale back on it because at one time, hearing either one of those words, you was scared as fuck. Your life was about to be up. And I don't think that's a good connotation. I don't want to carry that. But I do have a certain skill set that turns on everywhere. I had a client that a photography client went to visit. She had amnesia because she had gotten a really bad accident. So it was just like checking in there. She didn't remember me or anything at all, but when she saw me, she started boo-hoo crying. And she couldn't figure out what it was, but she's just like, I feel like I don't know, I can't explain it, but it was my energy. It doesn't matter. And that I needed to carry that with me. So this repentance of yoga came across me, right? Challenging my beliefs on yoga, meditation, and all those things. And you know what? Religious dogma was in the shadow too. I wasn't fully stepping into my job and I wasn't completing everything because part of me was still like, am I going to hell for this? But I know I'm not. We're in hell. And I got the cheat codes, but they weren't supposed to be cheat codes. That's what got messed up. The Bible and Christianity, that's not supposed to go like this. If you actually look at what Jesus said, he ain't never said, eat my flesh or drink my blood. He said, God is within you. The same thing I'm teaching y'all. The church is within you. You can connect on your own. You don't need to give tithes, money, or anything to anybody to have a conversation. And he said, please don't worship me. Don't make no idols. And what happened? They came behind him and made a whole religion based on that, where other people tell different religions what they should or should not do based upon their little limited book. I don't want to take shots at anybody's stuff. I got triggered because shots was taken at my now belief system, but I don't even need to worry about that. It was set up like this for a reason. Do you, and you will be led. Heal your heart, and you will be led. That's the conduit. That's the main thing that matters. Everything after that you can hear. Because the next freaking thing that I turned to on that TV was the History Channel, where they were explaining Middle Eastern and like Super Eastern, like monks and stuff, ways of preserving and elongating life in the human bodies. You can breathe in certain ways, and anybody can learn this to heal your body. So at that point, I realized, oh, the lesson was over for the day because I came full circle, right? Because let me show y'all what I was originally intending to share with you all before I got that email. Every day I get an email from this place. Well, that's separate. The email from the girl, right? I was watching freaking it. I've been getting back into watching stuff to detach from my overwhelming thoughts, my overactive crown, which was happening because I was doing too many readings or just tapping in between readings. And it was like making me have the migraines. I was overworking my player. I was not respecting myself. And that was the bottom line. Forgot to tell y'all, during the day, I had asked 211 to bring me home a candle because I needed a blockbuster. We need to move out of here. There's a reason why we're not moving. I'm being stagnated. He didn't bring home a blockbuster. And keep in mind, he's still learning candles and stuff, right? He brought home a red road opener. And I was like, okay, I'll just pull the card that's supposed to go with this because I always pull the card for what this is supposed to be intended for. Why was this put on my heart? It's a root chakra one. My shadow, my issues were buried in my root. The root controls Aries, which is self. It controls Mars, which is in my 12th house, which is the house of the buried, right? My Reiki energy, my ability to heal others is in the sign of Aries. It is in my hands. It is in my body. It is in my voice. It is just because it's Aries. It is my power to energetically heal other people. So going forward, I will be doing completely different things. Completely. And that's what this video is actually about to turn into. I'm going to teach you some things that you guys are going to carry with you for the next few weeks as I undergo some form of deeper initiation. But this time, this is like me and God one on one. I need to set my tone because the reason I've been behind the glass, even, and I didn't even think about it as a photographer, I was behind the glass too. There are not many pictures of me, but I have pictures that I have taken that plenty of people can show off. Was for me. I was hiding behind a mirror. I was hiding so I wouldn't be seen. the decision to live at a core level, deep down underneath all the other stuff, had to be made from within. So when I made that Peter Pan come home post the other day, it was a channel message, but I didn't realize it was for me too. It was for all of us, because it's almost time for the club to close, by the way, y'all. Um, come home to yourself. Come home to you, who you actually are, and you can't do that without being in touch with your inner child vibration. So I was like, you know what? I haven't even been hanging out with my kids. I started looking at cartoons and it would just be staring at them. That's how you know your inner child is off. If you can't laugh at Tom and Jerry or Captain Planet or anything like that, now you got to reset. You got to get in touch with your star player. Come home. that childlike energy, and I think that was a Jesus quote too. And I know some people got a gripe with Jesus, but he didn't do that to you. It's the people who took his image and then made y'all do rituals every month in his name to take y'all money. Okay, so my children wanted to watch it. I can't just watch it. I was balls deep invested in this. And I noticed at the end there was these 3 lights in his head called the deadlights. I'm like, what the freak are those lights? Those 3 lights. I am intrigued. Then I think about Freddy Krueger. Like, hold on, there were three beings behind Freddy Krueger. What is this 3 thing? What is that I need to know? Y'all, sure enough, when I went back to my phone on Instagram, there was a video explaining breathing techniques that help you remove psychic blocks. What are these psychic blocks? This is me mocking myself and my questions. And see, I keep asking questions, but in this case, God is happy I'm asking questions because it's leading me back home as opposed to the questions that led me down, right? They are called granthosnots. 3 energy centers, 3 lights. Whoever controls their lights has the ability to build faster. They can build from different forms of light. This is you pulling stuff into the 3D, shape shifting, but like shape shifting faster, like you losing weight faster, getting information, seeing other people's fears. Whoever activates the knots, that energy takes on the format of them, which is why in the movie it was evil, and for Freddy it was evil because he got killed, right? But this is what yogis are doing over there. I watched a dude run a freaking snow marathon. His feet got freezer burn. He meditated and did his breathing for 90 days. They told that man he would never walk again. His feet would never recover. He was right back out there in that damn snow again. Right? Because he had unlocked the 3 lights that happened during Kundalini. And guess what happens when you also release these lights? Ambrosia. So I was like, what are these lights made of? I need to know, man, because I was gotta check. Ain't no demonic stuff. That dogma is in there. They are the lights that are right above the top of the tree of life. They are the lights of Sophia. Through this 3-way passage, you go from Metatron, little god, that is available to talk to you at the crown, to the all. So Pennywise was taking the energy of the all and showing everybody back their fear so he could collect their soul. The demiurge got his light from his mother Sophia. It is Saturn, it's Kronos, it's the demiurge, it is the being that you call the devil, but he is operating from this light of unseparated consciousness, limitless space, and boundless, unmanifested light. Fucking shit up, reading it fast. But it's the ability to create from nothing, the darkness, the dark matter. And then I watched Kevin Hart's, not Kevin Hart. Oh, he would be so mad I said that. It was Cat Williams. Y'all know how you feel about Kevin Hart. A dark matter tour. And I just like, bruh, this shit is all real. Like I knew it was real, but to look back on it after that root chakra candle had started working, and I had worked through like my issues with like my dad, and then dad. It's the circle. And part of that's Pan's Labyrinth on top of it, which is Peter Pan. He got lost in the dark because he cut off the light because he was afraid to go back home to look into the eyes of God. He would rather keep his head down and pray and be humble. Now, humble means to lower your station. We ain't supposed to do that. You are supposed to raise your chin, baby. So you can breathe in the light of Sophia to change. Did my shit stop? Oh no, I switched pages. To change your vibration. So, guys, I just feel new about everything. Everything. I'm excited. Y'all saw my little shibari knot thing? It's because I didn't even know that was the name of it. But when I went to go do my healing to I made a mistake and messed up my little internet for a second. Let me hop back in there. Act like this didn't happen, guys. So, all right. I was doing my healing with that book series I keep telling you guys about, the cosmic sexuality. And as I approached the deadline to the end of the contract I'm coming up to, I was like, all right, it's time that I start doing this unbounding. I didn't want to do that because I did not know that my whole life, my energy has been still tethered to this guy, still sustained, right? So I didn't want like anything bad to happen to him or him to feel any loss because of it. But I had to become like untethered. I was doing like a little soul tie thing, right? When I went to look at my astral body to begin to remove the tetherings, I didn't even know what was on me. I was in the process. It just gets me fucked up. I thought I was just gonna be pulling cords. No, I was wrapped up like this, and I had to have my daughter type this in for me because I didn't know what the name of it was. My wings were bound. And I told y'all he keeps me here because he doesn't want me to go. But I did not know that my soul was bound. My vagina was bound, my womb, everything, like whatever is like the most twisted configuration of this stuff, I had to undo all of that, right? Bound. We did an exercise a few months ago, guys, where I had y'all do y'all soulmate password, right? You had to have a word that only your soulmate would know so that they would casually bring it up in conversation and you would know that this was the person for you. I emailed myself. Where the fuck is that? Yes, here it goes. I emailed myself my password on March 9th, so I'd always have it as evidence. My password, let me move that in there, was bound. Whenever I used to get really sad, the song that would play in my head, this is in my adult life, Kanye West, bound. Just because he was always letting me know that no matter what, I was not alone because we are bound to each other. We are tethered. Y'all, I can flap my wings again. And how does that translate? I can travel further in the astral. I've been doing more stuff in my sleep. Now my sleep is more pleasant because it's been blocked out, but I've been doing more healing work on myself, and I can tell the difference. I can tell the difference in my walk and my talk and my skin and my everything. But I was being preserved for him until the day that he finished out his part of the contract to meet up with me. His soul doesn't even know how much work he put into this uh, to get here in the first place. So I just wanted to share that with y'all so y'all can know. Sometimes y'all be feeling like crap and y'all don't know why y'all feel like crap. You're bound, and it has something to do with another lifetime. When I was, and let me do this right quick because this is, I guess, come on, let me hit my stop share button. Stop being a hater. My computer's so sometimes. So, my first babysitter was my cousin, but he was my boy cousin. That was a horrible, horrible idea. What nobody knew or acknowledged or could, I guess, come to terms with was that he got sexually assaulted by his mom's boyfriend. They did not understand that these behaviors linger over, right? So, of course, things happened. I now know that it was just the same spirit that goes through different people that was making sure that I was bound. I had been disassociating during sexual activity since 3 when it first occurred with him. I didn't know this whole time that it was for that reason. I didn't even know I was disassociating until I started reading this book and I started pulling out the different stuff that was wrong with me. And like Now the sense of touch for everything is completely different. Y'all, sometimes I have moments where I just got to sit by myself in silence. So when I go MIA, I need y'all to understand that's why. And that's why I'm about to go MIA now, because I got to do better. I never want to be in a position where somebody thinks I'm a scammer, because that's never my intention. I love people. I love my job. I love helping. But because of that, I get overwhelmed. I'm only one person. I keep training people in my family to do stuff and they can't keep up with what I do, even the back office. So I need to start working things in a way that don't make me a victim, a victim or a villain. On either way, I'm just a person. And when I went to go do this video, I'm like, am I really going to talk about this? You shouldn't have to explain this. But nah, that's the ego. That's a whole different part, right? Transparency, authenticity. I'm a real person. Y'all hear my shit all the time. Now going forward, things will be a little different. Uh, for several reasons. I got some stuff I need to do with me. Right. So I'm going to show y'all my cousin right quick, because that'll give y'all a little bit of understanding. Because the person that I was being prepared for did not make their original contract date. This is not the one, the dream guy I've been talking about, which is the same soul but different body, right? But it was a person originally, a guy that was going to be older than me, that I was supposed to work under. And that didn't happen because he didn't clear his karma. He added on to his karma. He definitely did. So I did not end up coming into his life, because I would have been able to pull the thorn out of his side, the thing that was making him fall into his shadow patterns. So this is my cousin, and y'all can put two and two together from there based upon his look. But just know that when I tell you guys, sometimes contracts don't work out because your person doesn't make it there, just know that there's a reason why your person ain't make it there, and it might just be for your benefit. I didn't know before that that's the original person I was supposed to be married to. I only got introduced to this new and improved, perfected version of him. That's who I was waiting on. But as we approach the end of this, I think maybe Peter Pan is afraid to dig as deep as I just had to dig in order to be able to look God in the face. And in order for him to do what he needs to do, he needs to be able to look God in the face. So going forward, I am setting the tone for myself to constantly be seeking God's heart. And I guess it sounds so gay. I hate it. I hate it. But why should I care? If I'm living in peace, that feeling that I felt just in that moment having that conversation, why should I care if somebody else thinks it's lame? I am seeking the peace that I find within God's heart through connecting through my heart space. I want to do everything in my walk, talk, stride, knowing that I am constantly connected to source. And that means I need to get in touch with my star player to do that. I've been bypassing my own growth by helping other people with theirs. I've been saving other people when I really wanted to save myself, and I could not register that. It had to get beaten to me the hard way. And you know what's the funniest part of this? When I went back and reread her email, Calm Down, she was a student. Uh, she had been emailing the wrong email address, so she thought I took her money. It wasn't even like a situation, but in my mind, I knew I had all these readings that I had to do, and I keep trying to knock them out. But as soon as I do like four, there's another group of people that's like, hold on, I need to reading over here, and losing my shit. But I didn't even remember that I took the website down because I was feeling like I needed to do something new. My academy is on the website. So when you go to look at it, it looks like I done cleared out. I done took stuff like nobody can log in. And I didn't think about that when I took the website down. I was just thinking, it's not working. Something's not giving. I'm feeling sad every day. Like there's something pulling at me. And there's no reason for me to be like sad, but it was me out of my power. I was laying down thinking I couldn't do anything but wait here in this room. I've been in this hotel room for like at least 6 months because I didn't take back my power in life. And I especially didn't take it back or want to take it back after that black magic attack. So to be hit again by a woman I don't even know, it really also jabbed in there like, you can't come out of the dark. As soon as they see you, they'll attack. I don't want to feel like that. I want to be so grounded in what I know and who I am that I don't have to worry about it. So, guys, what I am going to be doing is using the 4 years of content that I have developed. I'm going to repurpose that. And that's what I'm going to be sharing. Y'all aren't going to see a video here from me for a couple of weeks. But the next time you guys see me in this, on this camera, in this screen, doing a video, a channel message, I will be in my place. That's what I need to pull back my energy for. Because being a side character in your own life is a sort of torture. It is one thing to help people and be of service to people. But if it's to the point that you aren't moving forward in your own journey anymore, that becomes to your detriment. I know that I need to be selling the soul contracts because those are fulfillments. My ebook. I did not know that that was too high of a price for an ebook and they're supposed to be less, but that's sort of fine with me because I wanted more people to get the information and I just thought they weren't getting it. Keeping the buy donation class up. I'm actually going to add the draconic video in there so you can understand your draconic chart. That is by donation. I post that maybe every 2 weeks, like 2 people take it. I am teaching you everything I know about these charts in a broke down way so that you can look at it in your chart. People say to me all the time, oh, I don't have time to take a class. That's why I just do a reading. Each video is 20 minutes, 30 minutes max, because I don't like talking long unless it's something like this. If you can't take 20 minutes out of your life a week to start improving your life, how's it going to improve in the long way towards anything anyway? We talk ourselves out of so much shit. And even doing this right now, it's horrifying. It's frightening. Like I told you, I pay rent daily here, but I'm going to trust where I'm being led beyond my sight. That is a part of Crown. You trust this over any of this because your human will get you messed up. I tried this with 211 the other day, right? I was like, hey, pull some cards right quick. I want to see what you get through. And he's like, I don't know how to do this. I said, bruh, because I had just looked at this chart. Turn your human off. Marcus is the problem. That's his real name. Marcus is the issue. You're thinking in there. Turn it off and just pull and let's see what comes through. Baby, he read that shit, no training, when he cut himself off. And then at the end, he was like, all right, that's enough of that nigga. Because he just went back to looking at Nicki Minaj on his phone, which is sort of what he does all the time. And he gave me Nicki Minaj news. So your gifts are in there. You're just blocking them. And I am going to do what I have been historically, my son has been known for, making you work for what you want to know. And it's for yourself. Because the trick to this is when you get to those gates at the end, if you haven't actually learned the lesson, you coming back. I can't tell you. Well, how about this? I can tell you what the lesson is, but I can't force you to learn it. There's something about finding the information yourself or coming to the door that opens doors. Lately, that's what's been happening for me. As soon as I think of something like with that Pennywise thing that happened, when I was like, hold on, that connects to something, that message came to my phone. Only through seeking will you find, baby. Only through being open will you align. Maybe I should write more spiritual music. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. But guys, it's 11:11 now. That's what I wanted to tell you guys. I'm gonna start sharing my older content, and I'm going to be deep, deep in the trenches for the next couple weeks, finishing the readings that I have backlogged. For anybody who was late or felt neglected or anything, I hope this video helps you understand. You were not, it was not on purpose. It was not my heart, it was my mind. If you want a refund, let's work that out because that was kicking my ass too. I stopped booking readings. And then sometimes there would be a person who didn't want to wait. So I would post and say, hey, does anybody want to take this reading slot for that to happen? But then somebody else would pop up on that post like, hey, I haven't received my reading and you're posting 5 readings, but y'all not understanding that I am posting because somebody wanted a refund and I can't give y'all no money if I don't have the money to give y'all. But then I got people who won't let me post for readings. And it just became like, am I getting bullied by myself? Because it is by myself, technically. I can't. McDonald's pulls a car up. If they don't want to wait, they give them their money back and they go about their business. Me going back and forth with people, it was an internal thing, reflecting outside. And I'm so happy to realize that now. So I'll miss you guys. I love you guys. I really enjoyed starting to do these videos and being more open. And I look forward to doing it even better in the future, when I am even better in the future. Is there anything else I need to say? Because I feel like I'm really, like I am logging off. Ooh, I look forward to coming back with like I want a better webcam. I can't promise I'm gonna have a better webcam, but I will be in a different location. Um, so I'll be uploading videos for Dropbox, and you'll see me on here, but it'll be like people's readings like I usually do. Um, Still be posting information daily. If you've been with me for a long time, you'll notice that it's some stuff that is old, repurposed, but it's still good because lessons. I'll be posting for the fulfillment items that I have. I'm going to change the price of the book so everybody can get the book. If you didn't understand what the book was, I guess I'll go into an explanation in text on that also. But the book tells you which demons you're battling, what your highest potential is, and what the lower things to block you to getting to that potential are. I went to look at mine based upon going through this information, and crippling anxiety was at the blocking end of my psychic gifts, clairvoyance, and what was it, like revelation, perception. It was deep. It was like some high level psychic stuff. Not trusting myself or being afraid of my gifts stops me from clearly getting them through. I'm going to give everybody this book so they can find themselves. That is my goal. The book, the class, and then I'm going to put the website back up by Sunday. I'm so sorry for the Academy people. I was not thinking about that at all. I was thinking something needed to change and I couldn't figure out what it was. And it will. The website will be completely different when it comes back into format after I'm done these readings that people have been waiting for. And I'm going to just trust. And I hope y'all do the same. And for Peter Pan, I hope you trust and you come forward and you do the thing. Because there are a lot of people trying to trick you and dissuade you. And there's a lot of stuff that keeps getting thrown at you. Because if you came this way, then you too would be getting your crown back. But I heard that like there was somebody copying me, there was an imposter, like it's a lot being thrown at you. And if you really closed your heart, it's very hard for you to distinguish who to trust and what to deal with. So I wish you the best of the luck. Even if you don't come forward, I know you were still watching the whole time. If you don't come forward by the 1 year mark, I'll see you at home when we get out of this life. Although technically I got to spiritually divorce and the locks will be changed when you come back to the home. I'll always be a listening ear and I'll always still send love. But I did unbind us. So if you notice a difference in your energy or you feel like you're under attack, you are already under attack. One of the couple of the people closest to you was doing magic, but that's a whole nother thing. Uh I was I was sending you energy. For at least the last 2 years, you were able to feel what it was like to have me around. I even got the ping this week that the feeling, the thing that made you stop in your tracks when you first saw me, but it was because they hit you with like an arrow, but it was like an arrow of the culmination of all the feelings that you would have had by the time you passed away if you spent your life with me. It makes sense. It just sends you all your happiness in one beam so you will recognize what was in front of you. Everybody, and I say every spirit guide, every angel, me, did their best to fight against the demons that have been surrounding you to try to get you to come out of that hole so you didn't have to go through what you're currently going through. God wants you to know he sent you into the dark and he was ready to bring you out of the dark. He sent you there because he knew you were able to help the other people who didn't want to come home. You were sent on a rescue mission. I don't believe, and this is an interesting case, that God anticipated that you would get lost amongst them in the dark during this mission because he knows how bright your star is and how strong your mind is. So it's understood that you're not coming back home because you're afraid that he won't accept you back home, and he wants you to know that's not the case at all. Have a real chat and you'll see. And maybe you too, sir, will stop blocking your blessings and self-sabotaging yourself, because I'm done with it, y'all. So y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all in a couple weeks.